It's time to spill the tea.
Hello!
You there, and welcome to
A Spoonful of Theatre!
And this is another one of our Spill the Tea theatre reviews, where we review a piece of local Singapore theatre right outside the theatre. I'm TJ, theatre practitioner and director.
And I'm Sam, a teacher of language, literature, and self-proclaimed show business lovey. And TJ, what have we just seen?
Well, we have just watched Myles, Soulmate in a Box, right here at the KC Arts Centre. It's a brand new musical,
Yes.
written and performed by Inch Chua.
Yes, one-woman show.
One-woman show. It's very unique.
Oh, extremely so. But current.
Very current.
Very current. Very, very current. Because, well, it talks about AI.
Yes.
And how AI comes to penetrate and dominates our lives. And that is very, very current at the moment. I think it was the BBC or certainly some news outlets are already starting to talk about AI psychosis, AI dependency. Even I, and if my students watch this, you know what I say to you about using AI too much. But it is so current about AI and the world of AI and that technological revolution, which, in my opinion, what good theatre does.
Yes.
It takes those conversations and puts it on stage.
Yeah, I must say, I would say, before we even go into the show, I do absolutely take my hat off to SRT for producing something very different,
Yes.
very unique, very current, and producing a local, brand new piece of local musical theatre. Amazing to see that in the SRT season. So, yeah, absolutely hats off. So, Sam, what did you think to the story, the show?
This has been an absolute gift for someone like me because, ladies and gentlemen, I am a sci-fi nerdathon. Star
Yeah.
Wars and Star Trek are my biggest passions. And what I absolutely loved about it, you don't see science fiction as a genre in musical theatre too much.
No,
It
very
does
rare.
it very rare, very
Very
rare.
rare.
And that's why I really enjoyed this, that it was full of science fiction, full of science fiction, but also some nods to classical canon as well. I'm thinking of Frankenstein, the modern Prometheus, Pinocchio. There was that element in there as well. So it was that melange of science fiction, of musical theatre, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you, TJ?
For me, I honestly, before I came, I didn't really know what I was coming to. I think it's and even now I feel like it's a very hard story to tell people what you're going to come and see. And I came with no expectations. And I remember, actually, you said something. I'm going to call you out a little bit on podcast. You were like, I think I already know the story.
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And I will go into it.
But I think for me, you're a sci-fi fan. I'm not, and you know this about me. I'm not a sci-fi fan. And although it floated your boat, I didn't not like this because I didn't actually think it was too sci-fi.
Okay.
So what's really lovely is for the sci-fi fan, it got you excited, but it didn't put me off because I'm not a sci-fi fan. I actually did resonate and see why this person could have got to where they are and what happened in the story. So I think there was some interesting moments in the story because of that, and I did still enjoy it, even not as a sci-fi fan.
That is very interesting. The reason being, and any sci-fi fan will tell you this, the mark of good sci-fi is how human it is.
Okay.
So it's done its job. If that's your reaction to it, as a piece of science fiction, it has done its job. So I'm actually
Interesting.
really quite happy about that.
Lovely,
Really
great.
happy about that. Go on.
Can we just, first of all, I think we have to talk about Inch, obviously. This, for me, is so obvious how much of a labor of love.
Yes.
And not only that, a testament to creativity. Inch has put her heart and soul and passion and experiences and talent into writing this story, imagining these worlds, writing the music, and above all, absolutely deserves huge kudos for putting herself out there in such a way and taking the stage for an hour and a half with your own work, with your own creation. is so tough, and I think a very admirable job done by Inch in this show.
I absolutely agree with you. Inch absolutely delivered tonight. And it goes back to that point about a mark of good sci-fi is about how human it is. Inch showed and embodied that human frailty, the human flaws. From start to finish, you could tell that she was a broken human being. And it did make me wonder, is this semi-biographical? I'm quite curious to know about that, and if I have the chance to speak to Inch, I will ask, because, as you say, her mind, body, and soul seemed poured into this. That some of the backstory that was told throughout the piece, it made me feel, oh, is this semi-biographical? But no, Inch absolutely delivered tonight. Wonderful.
For me, I want to go into the style a little bit because it's a very unique style of musical. I mean, you know me. I am musical theatre through and through. I am jazz hands. I'm everything musical theatre. It kept me interested the whole time. Is the best way I can describe it. Because it wasn't the typical linear style of musical, it didn't have the same moments a usual musical has. But unlike some other things we've seen over the last few years, I was still engaged, but I suppose engaged in a curiosity way. One of the only things that took me out a little bit, I would say, is that the style of music and singing, because it's not traditional musical theatre, didn't lend itself to this clarity of storytelling through song.
Yes, thank you. You've vocalised it for me. Thank you.
The clarity of storytelling through song that a typical musical theatre song would do. Because in a typical musical theatre song, you're not quite so poetic. There is poetry within the lyrics, and there's some beautiful lyrics in musical theatre, but it's serving a purpose to tell the story. But because Inch is such a wonderful pop writer and a pop singer, and a certain type of pop singer and writer as well, quite a lot of the lyrics were those sort of poetic lyrics that you have to kind of think about and read into a little bit.
Yes.
And I was very grateful that they'd projected the lyrics on the screen
Yes.
during every song, which initially I was a little bit frustrated by, because I do sometimes feel when you put the lyrics on the screen, it becomes a karaoke. Because whenever you go to karaoke, no matter what the singer is doing, every single person is watching the lyrics on the screen. And I found myself reading the lyrics more than watching in the songs as well.
Yes.
However, by the end, I really appreciated it, because then I could read the lyrics and understand the artistry of what she was trying to say in the song.
Yes.
But it did take me out of the connection to character sometimes in those moments.
Yes.
Because I wasn't quite getting the diction and the clarity of words.
Yes, I see what you mean there. I was very grateful for the variety of music. I think it can be said there was a good variety of different genre or different pace of song. There was a bit of acoustic in there. There was a bit of EDM in there. There was a bit of, and I cannot think of the word, I think it's called electro swing. And with that song, it's called The Error of Being. I was toe tapping for most of it.
Song.
It was excellent.
Myles is a bop.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And I hope it's on Spotify or whatever the kids are using these days.
Well, we're on it, so you better know what we're on. Spotify, ladies and gentlemen. I hope it comes on there.
Yes. So I really, really appreciate. And then again, with the very tender moments, it went very acoustic, and I really appreciate it. But I agree with you. With some of the songs, was it contributing to the storytelling? Sometimes it really wasn't. And yeah, yeah.
I'll be honest, I enjoyed it much more when I took myself out and went, actually, I was experiencing it a little bit more as a dramatic concert at times.
Right.
And I feel like that might sound like a negative, but actually I felt like it was these beautiful songs, and the songs were all beautiful. Like, I did really enjoy the songs. And it was like this fuse of concert and musical theatre and technical wizardry all in one. And there were some moments I was just really just fascinated by what I was watching. And I think that leads us on really nicely to my favorite part about this show, and I'm sure we both have this favorite part. The technology is genuinely the best I have seen in a local Singapore theatre production. The way that they fused the physical set, the projections, the lighting, the soundscapes, it was absolutely stunning. They transformed that stage, and the the room became the second character, which links with the story and the AI and everything. But there was so many surprises, which we are definitely not going to spoil because we do not do spoilers on this
There
channel.
was a moment where you went, "Whoop!"
We guessed.
And it was
was
brilliant.
amazing. It was amazing.
Brilliant.
Honestly, absolutely phenomenal technical theatre.
Yes. It was cinematic. It was absolutely cinematic and flawless. I mean, and you would know this better than I do. When you have a lot of tech, there is the danger of it going wrong.
Yes, of course.
And that can probably throw the pacing and the tempo. But tonight, it was absolutely flawless, and the set itself again complemented and made me think of Luc Besson's Fifth Element. So again, any sci-fi fans out there, when you look at the set, you may get an idea of the Fifth Element and the sort of direction our homes are going into with smart home technology. It was absolutely brilliant, absolutely flawless.
And my final one, just with my director hat on, it was stunningly directed. Thomas Egerholm, oh my goodness, what a debut in Singapore theatre. I genuinely, thinking about it, like, it is such a tough piece to direct because there's one person on stage, there is an AI unit that is not a physical being, and the choices that were made, the use of space, the way that that he managed to find some flow in some places where I actually didn't think there was flow in the text, but the direction of the piece was absolutely stunning, and I truly enjoyed that.
I quite agree. I've only really got two kind of notes, and it's less direction, it's more about the story. And this is, again, because it's so current, the story is so current, I do think that this can be on again in the future. I do think this could travel overseas and international audiences appreciate it. However, I do still have two notes. I do think the story was very predictable.
Okay.
And even the start of the show answered that question for me right away. And basically the question is, what is going to happen to the AI? And you'll see why I think it was predictable. The other thing, and this isn't a read at Inch, but I do think there needed to be a second human character somewhere. The reason being is that we as humans, we always have that other human being that grounds us.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know that we need grounding, there's always that other human character that grounds us, that brings us back into reality a little bit, or keeps us from the brink a little bit. And I do think there just needed to be a second human somewhere.
But isn't that the point of the story?
It's now
Isn't that the point?
This is where it's up for discussion. This is where it's up for debate, because Inch's character is one of loneliness, but the question appears: is it self-imposed loneliness?
Yeah. Well, I think this is the whole point about the show.
Yes.
And please start a discussion in the
Yes,
comments.
please do,
And
please do.
we'd love to find your comments when you come and watch this show. But yeah, I think overall a very interesting night at the theatre.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, as you know by now, when TJ and I go and see a piece of theatre, we always give it a rating out of 5 spoonfuls, but we never reveal how many spoonfuls we are going to give until the moment has come, and that moment is now. So, are you ready, TJ?
Ready.
So, for Myles' Soulmate in a Box, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3,
3.
4. Ah, okay, right. So, why a 3 for you, TJ?
I had a good night in the theatre. What I said earlier about the style, it didn't put me off, but it also wasn't. It's not the style of theatre that it's not the style of story that floats my boat particularly. I also, again, some of those moments with the music kind of taking me out, also didn't quite take it up into those higher scores. But for me, a 3 is a really good night at the theatre. So I think the thing that I will remember for a long time was the set and the technical aspects of the show. Like, that to me was a 5 out of 5. That was amazing. So yeah, for me, 3.
For me, aesthetically and technically, absolutely flawless, absolutely masterful. Inch absolutely delivered. I really enjoyed some of the music, especially The Error of Being. Again, narratively though, it was just a little bit predictable for me. But other than that, I really, from start till finish, was hooked. Great show.
Great. So, Myles, A Soulmate in a Box, is playing here at the KC Arts Centre from the 13th to the 31st of May, and you can get your tickets on Cystic.
Right, my tea's gone cold, love. Should we leave it there?
Let's.
So that's cheerio from us. We'll be back soon.
And it's hurrah from me.
And to the cast and crew of SRT's Myles Soulmate in a Box.
And to anybody else performing in Singapore theatre,
Break a leg.